So, Gil, when we start fixing our runway, putting up lighthouses, why are we self-policing ourselves and saying, no, no, we cannot do that because that is provocative?
Well, again, this is the absence of political will. Now, the Chinese are exploiting that.
Yes.
Why? Because they know that the ASEAN, as a group, as two words actually that works against the ASEAN, and that is mufakat and mushawara.
Okay.
Mufakat means that is a consultation meeting among the members if there is a need for one to decide whether they're going to do any act or not.
Okay.
And the mushawara means the majority, the decision of all, consensus. Now, they know that Sukarno, during the time that first the ASA and the Mafilindo, and then ASEAN were formed, insisted that those two words would be included because that was part of the culture of the Indonesian. And we agreed, you know. So this is what the Chinese are now exploiting. You cannot unite anyway. So I'm going to give one offer to Burma or Myanmar. Give one offer to the Philippines, another offer different from Laos, different from Cambodia. Because China knows the levels of the economies of the 10 members of ASEAN are not all the same.
They all have their own
game
plan. They all have their own game plan.
Yes, yeah. And so they are trying to do that. Promises, promises, promises. And as far as I'm concerned, what we should do is listen to the promise, but first look at the delivery.
Are we really caught up in between, they're saying, we can't be too close to Washington. We should be closer to China, or the Chinese are there because of Washington. Why can't we just assert ourselves, independent of both? Of course, we know the realities, the geopolitics, but let's assert it not because of Washington, not because China is there, but because this is our homeland.
I agree with that. But the way it should be implemented, I think we should also consider some deception.
Okay.
So that when we say we're not going to be siding with China or the U.S., yes, we will not.
Yes.
But if we need to, and the idea is to get more than what we give, then let's do it. Let's do it.
Are we going to be caught up also in a trade war eventually between China and the United States?
By the way, they just gave up, according to Washington, the joint statement.
Okay.
Because the Chinese sent a delegation to Washington to talk with the Secretary of Commerce, and they finally came up with a joint statement. They are giving up the trade war. In short, what did
they
Trump,
blinked?
Yeah,
they blinked.
They're playing, they're playing to each other, to its own national interest. What is their goal? They're not saying what their goal is, but
they're just being patient.
Yes, being patient. Watch and see.
Do you see Philippine rice is also in the horizon as far as Beijing is concerned in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years?
I suspect they've already done their homework as far as the Philippine rice is concerned.
And we haven't.
And we haven't. This is the only second exploration that the Philippines has sent to the Philippine rice. What we should have done, well, this is hindsight.
Yeah.
What we should have done before is ask the Japanese, ask the Europeans.
Ask the Americans.
Ask the Americans.
Yeah.
Ask the Chinese also, Ask everybody to help. I'm not going to give anybody any majority share.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you all equal share. I've got 10 fingers, hold only one each.
Okay. Okay.
That's the only way
multilateral approach?
Yes, multilateral approach. And then say, okay, this is what we have. We own it. And that is proven by the UN geological findings, that the Philippine rice is part of our Philippine shelf.
The Philippines, as far as our government is concerned, is looking at sharing the natural resources in West Philippine Sea.
I think announcing sharing is a mistake.
Okay.
This is something that you should keep closer to our chest as far as diplomatic negotiations is concerned. Why? Because it's the only ace that you're going to have. So why announce it? Why show it?
Who gets the bigger share? Who should get the bigger share? In the first place, should we really go into sharing as far as the West Philippine Sea is concerned with the Chinese.
We can, as far as the Chinese is concerned, only? No, we should not. We should give it to, say, okay, China, this is what you have. Australia has got another technology, this is what they're going to have. Britain and France has this is what they will have.
You're
The
saying
US has
let's
this.
have a multilateral approach towards West Philippine Sea
All
and
of
exploring these natural
All of
resources.
them. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
That would be a better approach.
yes, I think so. I believe so.
Again, how come we're not doing it?
I don't really know.
Or even the Americans, why can't we get a petroleum company from the US and say, okay, that's China here, and then you take care of this area in the Philippines, and let's come up with an agreement. How come we're not doing that?
Well, we tried to do it during the Ramos administration. That's the reason for the Malampaya.
Okay.
Malampaya investment of Shell,
Yes, yes.
of 5 billion.
Yes.
But
But in other areas,
in other areas, they did not, you see, because even at that time, the issue of the environmental changes, the climate change was already coming up, and Ramos was, from the very start, very much concerned about the environmental climate change. Therefore, we did not have that much on energy. But what we should have done was, right from the very start, get on with the renewable energy resources. Wind, solar, we have water, yes, we have hydro, we have geothermal, yes.
okay, assuming let's go on a multilateral approach as far as West Philippine Sea is concerned, who gets the lion's share?
Philippines.
Philippines should get the lion's share.
Yes, yes.
In the case of China,
The same. China will get the equal to the others, and the Philippines
Okay.
gets the lion's share.
what if they say no, this is part of China. We should be getting more than you
No,
are.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We won it in the court, and the court stands. They say now, Duterte says, we are not going to give up that right because the court decided on it. Whether or not China recognizes the court's decision, fine. Let us stick to that. Let us say, China, here is the decision. I'm sorry, you don't honor it. We don't honor yours either. So
Are we losing our advantages in terms of the arbitral court ruling because we don't put it right away in front of the negotiating table?
Yes, we are. We are. I believe we are. I believe we are.
Now,
This is something that you can do without going to war.
okay.
And it is in line with what Duterte has been saying.
This can be your
can
ace,
go to
no?
war.
This can
Yes.
be ace for negotiations.
Yes.
Okay.
Because while China doesn't believe that right is might, right now they're saying might is right.
Yes.
So now we say, we're a small country, we can give you a bloody nose.
Yes.
So we're saying right is might, and this is right, and this is what we're going to do. So just keep insisting on it.
The palace says that arbitral court ruling will be. We're going to show our trump card later on, but only later on, not now.
Well, I
Too
hope.
late. Too late.
I don't know. It all depends really on what they have laid down as foundation for it. Because if I were they, I will also not talk about what I'm doing right now. So let us see. Let's wait and see what they will, how they will do it when the time comes. They say, But as far as I'm concerned, no. Just say now, this is it. Might is right, and we are going to stick by it. The rule of law. I think on this score, Carpio is correct. Justice Carpio is correct.
What is your sense of students, people that you talk to? They're saying we're doing the right thing because we have to be practical in terms of the West Philippine Sea or Benham Rice, and we can't afford, to go to war. And that has always been the chorus. But is that really the sense of?
Most of the students I've talked to, and I've talked to people students from Mapua, from Lyceum, some from UP.
Yes.
There are students who are the leaders, the thinkers, are saying that no, we must assert our right.
Okay.
And we must not be subservient, except as students, they don't know how to do it, and therefore it's not fair to ask them, how do you propose to do it? So I never did, but most of them that I've talked to say, I don't know. They're not even aware, some of them, because some of them, or most of them, don't even read the newspapers.
Uh-huh.
They use the cell phones, yes. They use the Wikipedia, yes, but not for...
They don't know how to channel their...
No, energies.
Uh-huh.
No, they don't.
There used to be some students who used to go to West Philippine Sea under the Kalayaan group of, what do you call this? They have a term for these students who go there. They're a Kalayaan group, but I think the administration stopped them from continuously going to West Philippine Sea.
Well, I think this is what the so-called activists
Yes.
among the students should do.
Uh-huh.
And if they're really nationalistic, then they should really go into it, you know, dig into it, dig into the history, and then fight for it. Urge the government to go for it, because you now have the youth. And these are the people who are going to inherit what they're going to leave behind.
What is the price of our national dignity, the defense of our territory? Does it mean that we should be ready for just a few soldiers in a shooting war or in a shooting incident with China? Are we ready to? We should bite the bullet. Are we ready for that?
I believe we should bite the bullet. Yes, and do it, because Vietnam proved it.
Indonesia also did it.
In Vietnam was invaded by the Chinese twice.
Okay.
After the in 1979, they invaded the northern Vietnamese border, saying that they need to assimilate that part because that's China. So what did the Vietnamese do? They fought back, and then again 5 years ago, when the oil rig was brought into near the Vietnamese Gulf, they fought back.
You have heard Gil statements, I don't know whether they're official, that say that actually the Philippines is a province of China.
Well,
is that the direction
no,
down the road, way down the road?
No, I don't think so, because there is still that pride left in the leadership, you know, and whether we like it or not, they do say, we're still Filipinos.
Yes.
Fine. But I say, then push it to the hill.
Yes.
Push it to the hill.
Don't
stop there.
How does Beijing see us? Because there have been reports that, Beijing considers us an old province.
Yeah. Well, some of my old friends, I won't mention them. No?
Yes.
They're in Shenzhen.
Yes.
They're in Hong Kong.
Yes.
These are old colleagues in the wire service. And they're saying the Chinese are regarding the Philippines as, we can deal with them, you know, as so-so. And I think that is also one of our strong points.
Final word, Gil. I have this thesis that foreign countries end up respecting even small countries because these are the people with hardened national identities. And unfortunately, we have
none.
we are soft on that. So that's why we're like patsies. They walk all over us. Could that be the reason?
It is one of the reasons, one of the reasons. Number two is Beijing thinks corruption is still here, and therefore they cannot be united. Number three is, again, I go back to Mufakat and Musawara in the ASEAN, and they think ASEAN will never be united against China.
And federalism will strengthen the Philippines in the face of all these problems, or weaken it, in your estimate?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay.
But that takes another program to explain it, you know. But it is, there are some merits and there are some demerits, yes.
Okay.
Depending, again, on the final, on the approved version of the BBL. You know?
That's the entire program with Manila Times columnist Gil Santos, who is a professor of geopolitics and journalism in the Lyceum of the Philippines. Wala na po tayong panahon. We'll end up talking to him again, checking on the developments in West Philippine Sea and Philippine right. Thank you very much, Gil.
Okay,
thank you.
pleasure. Yes.
Thank you very much. At ito po si Eric Espina, palaging nagsasabi, magmasid, makialam, higit sa lahat ay manindigan. Dahil wala pong magmamahal sa Pilipino kung hindi ang Pilipino. Daghang salamat, mayong gabi kaninyong tanan.